Hey guys, so we're back with Umbrella Academy, and this is Drunken Commentary, and I am currently on drink number 5, so that's why it's taking me a bit more time to remember what episode we're on. So in case you guys are watching at home and you're wondering how much time is going by for me over here in between these episodes, the answer is as little time as possible because I want to really highlight the change in my state between episodes. I feel like if I'm giving myself time to sober up, you're going to get less of the drunken experience. And I think that's what we're all here about. So we want to get those reactions. We want them to sound good. And we want them to sound like, there's an overall narrative to my drunken ramblings. So here it is, episode 3. And I'm still going with my prediction that violin is somehow relevant to something. Because they can't even show Vanya without that violin. A lot of people really take the piss out of Lost because they hated the ending. But Lost really pioneered the whole flashback method of storytelling. And that set the stage for so many other stories to use flashbacks pretty much throughout the entire narrative in order to show backstories. And it's just such a good way of doing character exposition. And so, I know, people should lay off Lost more. Father never missed an opportunity to remind me that I'm ordinary. Because you're not ordinary, you clearly have superpowers. Every time they hammer it in, I'm more convinced that it's not true. That video too was in the most suspicious spot ever. It was it was just sitting there. There's another old rule, especially in fantasy and sci-fi, which is if you don't see the body, they're not dead. And we haven't explicitly seen their father's body yet, which makes me really believe he is. She seems angry at that frying pan. I'm wondering if Mom was ever a person or was she always a robot? I kind of feel like she was always a robot because she seems to be designed off some kind of 50s pinup girl. So the one question they haven't answered us so far is they've introduced time travel. Whenever you introduce time travel, I feel like the one thing you have to introduce right away is whether or not your actions can change time. So there's 2 basic ways that time travel usually works in shows. There's the closed loop time travel, and there's the time can affect things version time travel. Time can affect things version is kind of the Back to the Future version, where whenever you time travel, you have the option of changing the future. And closed loop time travel is kind of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban or Lost, where no matter what you do when you time travel, you can't change the future, and everything that you're doing to change the future has already been done. There's a degree of truth to what she's saying, but I don't like it. Sometimes you're passionate about things you're not good at, and that's just truth. And so, I don't think the thing that's most important is being good at something or not being good at something. I think passion is its own reward, and if you get enjoyment out of what you're doing, that should be what you do it for. I mean, her power is rife with temptation. The fact that you can just solve all your problems just by telling them what you want them to do. I mean, I kind of agree. And she apparently only did it once, and that's okay. As long as you just don't do it, you realize you messed up and you put extra effort to not do it again. Yeah, she's probably being too hard on herself. There's this one character in where it's season 4 of The Flash, where one of the characters is like a country music singer, and she has these like sound wave power, and she finds out that she can control it using an instrument. And I'm wondering if it's going to be something like that. Like her power is tied to her instrument, and she can, like Donkey Kong 64, like play her instrument and it'll just destroy everything. I don't know. It feels a little obsessive to have this much stuff. Oh, but clearly he's fast at it if he already made a little version of her. That's impressive work for one night. Like, it seems like he should know exactly about the Umbrella Academy and everything, which makes it feel weirder and weirder that he doesn't know who Vanya is, which makes me assume that he does know who Vanya is. I'm not sure if I trust this guy. I'm a 5 on this. But I'm also saying, like, he knows that Luther's main goal would always be to, like, save the world. So why doesn't he just include Luther into this investigation? I don't see what he's helping by avoiding telling him things. Sometimes I feel like screenwriters really lose their subtlety. Like, he really didn't need that line, I know that I am. But put it in. But I'm kind of wondering if their agency or whatever they come from. This family has trust issues. Oh wow, and I totally didn't figure out what that was before when he was chucking that into the ocean in the pilot. I just ignored it because I couldn't figure out what it was, but I guess that was Dad's monocle. Dysfunctional. I kind of always hate this about superheroes and stories like this, where they tend to always be dysfunctional or have communication issues. But the only reason why they have these issues is because if you ever tried to make a show where they weren't dysfunctional and didn't have these issues, the show would be solved in like 2 episodes. Well, that answered my question about whether Mom was at some point human. I didn't think that she would have been, but it's good that I'm getting closure to all these like little mysteries. This is the part of superhero movies we never get to see usually. The part where they all dress up. It's always usually skirted by in superheroes that they just kind of transition really fast. And it's one of my favorite parts of Spider-Man Homecoming, where you see Tom Holland really struggling to get into the spider suit. And it's so realistic. Like, these things are spandex and they fit weird. And it's ridiculous how in like old superhero movies they can all put them on in like 5 seconds. So I do like these scenes where they're like struggling to get dressed. It just adds a level of like being human and realism to the whole situation. I'm still so curious about Diego's powers because so far we've only been able to see him like move his knives, and it's like, is there something special about his knives, or does he just have telekinesis? Or does it have to be metal? Is he like Magneto? Robo-Mom doesn't feel like she has a full gamut of emotion or thought. So for guys on the alcohol watch, I've recently switched over to vodka. I was drinking scotch this whole time, but we're over at drink number 6 now, and so that's Ellen Page, I'm assuming. Vanya. Oh fuck, no, that's Klaus. The actor who plays Klaus has like really, really smooth legs. I like how when they went to a department store and there was no one there, they bothered putting on their masks. But when they're going into a house and there are people there, they didn't bother Like, this is a home invasion. They didn't bother wearing masks. It seems like a terrible choice. How did you get there? How did you get back? Man. Like, am I wrong about this? It feels like just strategy 101 that if you're going to break into someone's house, you would, do some research on who lives there so that at very least you would know if you should expect anyone to be in there. But now they just... Research is overrated to them. Not very good at their jobs. Oh, fucking Vanya. This is what I said in episode 1. If you hear gunshots, do not walk towards the gunshots. That's like 101. Why is Allison not using her superpower? Like, her power can, like, instantly diffuse the situation. Now, instead we're going to see her superpower of being able to hit people with sticks. Like, underwhelming. Holy shit, did he just rip out one of the foosball handles just by pulling on it? What superpower is that? Oh, cool. So they've answered my question of whether it's just knives. No, he can apparently do it with any kind of projectile. Wow, that guy got his move straight out of the WWE. Oh. So I guess his ability is not extended to large falling objects like chandeliers. It seems like it's a surprise to them. So they didn't know he looked like a monkey? He just looks like Hank from the X-Men. Not the weirdest thing. In fact, he's not even blue. He's just a guy with lots of chest hair. He's like an Armenian. So I guess they didn't explicitly say it, but I feel like Allison probably hasn't used her power since she accidentally used it on her kid. She's probably traumatized by that. Or you guys could just train her to fight. Just saying. It's not like Allison used her superpowers in this fight either. Also, they kept bringing Klaus on their missions. It's not like Klaus's powers help at all with combat. Has he been, like, taking some sort of drugs or something to make him more powerful? Like in First Class, Hank injects himself with a serum to try to cure his feet, but just makes himself more furry. Is that what's kind of going on with him? Where originally he was just really strong, but he looked normal. And then in an effort to make him more strong, he took some sort of drugs or something, and that's why he looks like a less attractive gorilla. Oh, don't trust a psychopath who clearly is lying about everything. I mean, if Frozen got one thing right about the world that should really be taught more often, it's try not to fall in love and marry that person that you just known for a day. And it's a lot of trust for someone you don't know at all.
You can't marry a man you just met.
Terrible decision. No, Cha-Cha stopped for his love connection. Get off his back, Hazel. Oh, he captured Klaus. Alright, that's episode 3. So far, I'm still liking the plot. It seems to be a little formulaic at this point, where the first, 40 minutes are, exposition and story, and then there's always going to be a battle with, the time cops chasing down 5, which I guess have been replaced now with Hazel and Cha-Cha. But it's getting intense, And I do like the fact that everything seems to be leading to one conclusion. I definitely don't think that Vanya is safe with creepy Mick. I don't know how to play violin, and I have way too much time for woodworking. I just don't trust him. But we'll see what happens, and we'll keep going. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time with part 4. See you then, guys.